Hello, and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. On behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you joined us for our 3-day Precious Metals and Critical Minerals Conference. The next presentation is from IBC Advanced Alloys. Please note, you may submit questions for the presenters in the box to the left of the slides, and you can view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings by clicking Book a Meeting. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Mark Smith, Chief Executive Officer and Chairman of the Board, and joining for Q&A is Jim Sims. He's the Director of Investor and Public Relations of IBC Advanced Alloys, which trades on the OTCQB venture market under the symbol IAALF and on the TSXV under the symbol IB. Welcome, Mark and Jim.
Thank you, John. What an honor to be here, and appreciate everything you and OTC do to get the word out on all these companies. It's great to be here. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for taking the time. We'll try to get through the slide deck in about 15 to 20 minutes so that we have plenty of time for questions. That's always my favorite part. So with that, Jim, if we could go ahead and move to slide 3. Just a little bit about IBC. We are a producer of copper alloys and products, and we are demonstrating our ability to produce aluminum scandium alloys and products as well. I'll cover that in more detail soon. But we are the only U.S. company that both casts and forges copper, and that is our primary business. No one else in the U.S. does that. We have a group of metallurgical engineers that really adds a level of technical expertise to our business and to our products and to our customers that we think is second to none. And finally, we do casting, forging, including hammer press and ring rolling. We do heat treating and we do machining operations. So this is really a vertically integrated copper operation located in Indiana. Next slide. You can see some stock information, some share structure information on the right in the green boxes. But let me focus on a couple of the highlights here. First of all, as a copper company that is really vertically integrated as well as we are ready to capitalize on what we think is the next copper super cycle. And I've got some slides to show you why we think the next copper super cycle is coming. We have a very highly diverse customer base. I'll show you a slide on that shortly. We've talked about the vertically integrated manufacturing capabilities that we have. We'll talk more about that. Very unique market positioning, largely because we concentrate so much on copper. Very business-friendly location. Indiana is certainly one of the best states I can think of to do business in, and we certainly are proud to do our business there in Indiana. And in large addressable markets, and I'll cover that in more detail as well. But bottom line is we have a business at IBC that what we would call has a very strong base or foundational business that we've been working on for 60 plus years. And that strong base business grows at about 4 to 6% per year. But we also have some very strong sales growth drivers right now that are causing us to put into place a growth management plan. And I'll go through that in each of our steps that we're looking at as well. But it's being driven by the extremely large demand that's coming for copper alloys in the naval defense sector. The United States military is putting a tremendous amount of money into their naval programs, and that presents multiple opportunities for us at IBC. We have increasing demand for copper across multiple industries, so electronics, automobile, and again, we'll cover these large addressable markets in just a minute. And we certainly don't want to leave out the 5G or 6G networks and applications that are still being built out in the world today. Next slide just shows a little bit of share information on both the OTC as well as the TSXV. You can see that we've had a very nice rise here in the recent past, and we're hoping that the excitement level for the company continues, especially in this next copper super cycle that's going to occur. So the next slide shows us some of these diverse markets that we are dealing in every single day. Defense is a very large sector for us. Automotive, oil and gas, resistance welding, foundry, injection molding, manufacturing, electronics. We're into each and every one of these market spaces. It provides a huge diversity for us so that as one may go up, another one may go down. It really provides for a nice foundational business for the company. And as I noted, that foundational business grows at about 4 to 6% per year. Now, in terms of customers, we'll go to the next slide. And this is just a very, very few select customers that we wanted to show you. We have a customer list that's well over 160 companies that we're doing business with. So here's some of the better well-known names that we do business with. And again, you can really see the diversity of not only businesses that we work in, but customers that we deal with. So the next slide, we start getting into the growth strategy that we're now contemplating and ready to execute at IBC. Now, the first thing is we want to expand into the production of near net shape copper alloy cast products. And I'll show you some pictures and whatnot of products that we have made already. We can probably get upwards of about 500-pound parts that we can produce in this near net shape copper alloy casting business. So that one is in process and actually looking very good right now. We also want to launch the casting of copper nickel and aluminum bronze alloys in the near net shape cast products, much the same as the copper, just slightly different metals, but getting upwards of 500 pounds for those types of products as well. We're looking at moving into the production and casting of forged parts made with aluminum scandium alloy. This is an alloy that has really opened the minds of people in the Department of Defense. It's opened the minds of people at Lockheed. It's opened opened the minds of people at OEMs in the automobile manufacturing sector. We'll cover that in more detail soon. But this is a fast and growing area that has really been limited by two things. One is the actual supply of scandium, and the second one is the supply chain limitations that we had for anything associated with scandium. Basically, everything had to be made in China or nowhere else. And then finally, because of the U.S. naval unbelievable level of funding that they're receiving from the current administration, and the advanced production and building of ships and submarines. We absolutely want to expand our business with the U.S. Navy and have had many successful meetings with their procurement teams and their design teams already. So we'll cover all that a little bit in detail as we go. So let's talk about that new copper super cycle to start with, just to form that base for our growth plans going forward. And really, we're going to show you some graphs that show what the forecasts are like. They'll show what the previous super cycle looked like. And I think we've got a pretty good case for a new super cycle coming on. We've covered all the 3 bullet points on this already, but these are the things that cause us to take a look at this new copper super cycle forecasting information and get us even more excited about where this business can grow. So in the old super cycle, let's take a look at that first, 1999 to 2012. You can see that the average annual price grew tremendously, average demand grew tremendously, and we really feel like in the next 5 to 8 years, we're going to see a very similar forecast in terms of what is going on in the field of copper. And remember that prices increased during this time frame for copper by 406%, and demand rose by 46.7%. So if we take a look at the next slide, this is what the world of business leaders in the copper sector are forecasting in terms of supply and demand. You can see the yellow portion of the bars here is the actual demand that we're looking at. If in supply, I'm sorry, the blue line is the actual supply that we expect, including growth activities in the copper arena. Then you can see that the yellow and the red bars combined are what the demand is going to look like, with the red showing how much copper we're going to need in addition to what can be supplied. So we're looking at the copper use rising from about 25 million tons in 2021 to about 49 million tons, million tons, I'm sorry, by 2035. So this is, between 2026 and now, we're going to be looking at this market growing by over double in terms of demand. The estimated demand is expected to rise by 63% during this time frame, and that's being driven largely by things like EVs, where electric vehicles use over twice as much copper as what an internal combustion engine uses. You take a look at all the AI and data centers and all the copper wires are going to be needed for that. You take a look at the naval operations and putting together the submarines and the ships that the Navy wants to build and try to keep up with China. That's a lot of copper and a lot of different shapes and sizes. So along those lines, let's go to the next slide, Jim, in terms of what that means for IBC. First of all, we do believe raw copper supply will be tight, and that we just demonstrated that with the last graph. We also believe that things that we learn along the way as engineers and lawyers and economists, when supply is tight and demand is strong, you will see increasing prices and margins during those timeframes. We believe quite strongly that the markets in particular will be rewarded where there are precision copper products being produced. And of course, that's exactly the business that IBC has put itself in for more than 60 years, and we plan to take advantage of this. The U.S. copper tariffs on finished and semi-finished goods does create some potential advantages for us as a U.S. company. And again, we will make sure that we watch our supply chains for copper, and we'll watch the tariffs on finished and semi-finished goods and make sure that we take full advantage of those situations as well. So getting into more detail in terms of our growth plan. Stage one is we want to have the ability to cast near net shape parts from a variety of copper alloys. So you can see in the picture here, this is more of a bronze alloy, but we have actually cast, that's a part that we actually cast. So we are able to produce these parts. We're able to produce them in meeting all the specs that our customers want. Personally, I think that's a very, very good looking part that we cast. And we can cast these parts up to sizes of about 500 pounds each. So the next step will be that we'll want to look at putting a vacuum cap furnace into our operation. It's about a $5 million investment into that business, and that will allow us to cast the copper, nickel, and other gas-sensitive alloy products, so we can continue to expand our capabilities in this near net shape casting of parts as part of our copper business. So very, very exciting, and there's quite a bit of demand in this area already. Second part of our growth plan is to launch the aluminum scandium alloy production. This is an area that the Department of Defense has been very sensitive about. We currently produce zero scandium in the United States. We import 100% of what we need in the United States. We have little to no capability of making scandium metal. We have little to no capability of producing master alloy, scandium aluminum master alloy, and very little, if any, capability to actually produce the 0.1 or 0.2% scandium alloys that end users are looking for. So as part of a joint development project that IBC Advanced Alloys has with NioCorp developments. We are now working on putting this whole supply chain together in the United States. So NioCorp will produce scandium from its up-and-coming greenfield project in Nebraska. NioCorp has also purchased assets and intellectual property to produce scandium master alloy and is in the process of conducting tests to produce scandium metal. With both of all of that part of the supply chain put into place, NioCorp needed help in terms of making the finished alloy that the customers want. And here's an actual shot, a picture that was taken when IBC was actually producing a 0.2% scandium aluminum alloy in an ingot form. And they couldn't have done better. The very first test that they ran, they hit all of the specs just perfectly. Really, I think a signal to the market as to how good our technical competence is in IBC and with our metallurgists that drive what we do every day. They hit the target just perfectly. So we would now like to see if we can make billets of scandium aluminum alloy at spec, and then start to take a look at the actual scandium aluminum and any other alloy components that customers would like, and demonstrate our ability to make those products as well. Very exciting, and we think some near-term results could be seen with that business. Next slide. And this is where we talk about adding this vacuum cap furnace. If we add a vacuum cap furnace, then we can make the copper nickel aluminum bronze alloys that the Navy so dearly wants right now. So we would be able to cast 10 or 30% copper nickel alloys in-house. You can see all of the specs that we can meet in terms of other alloys. And then again, trying to put ourselves in a position where we can do near net shape castings of up to 500 pounds each. So the estimated cost for this vacuum cap furnace is about $5 million. We've already invested about $500,000 into the infrastructure and the support systems that we'll need to operate that vacuum cap furnace at our Franklin, Indiana facility. And we should note that this is, we think, of particular importance to the United States, because the Navy is currently securing or procuring about 90% of the copper, nickel, and aluminum bronze alloys that they're purchasing from foreign sources. So this will provide yet another United States source for these products and make us less foreign dependent. Finally, stage 4 of our growth, this will be a little, this will take a little time to implement stage 4, but stage 4 is really all about taking those copper nickel alloys and putting them through a radial forge piece of machinery that can then make the rounds, the bars, the hollows, and the 1 to 6 inch diameter shapes that the Navy needs in terms of what they actually use on the submarines. So, we will install the vacuum cap furnace first to be able to produce the product that they need. The radial forging will have to occur by others until we get and invest in a radial forge machine ourselves, which we have the space on our property in Franklin, Indiana to install it. So we're pretty excited about this as well, and to bring these capabilities onshore to serve our Navy. Last couple of slides here are very simple. This is the board of directors for IBC. The four to the left, we've been working together for a very long time now. I think as a general rule, work very hard to achieve consensus decision making, and it's based on the fact that all four of us bring different operating and executive experience to the board of directors. We've just added Chris Huskamp in the last few months. Chris is just an outstanding resource to the board of directors of IBC. He has access to military markets and commercial markets that we just simply haven't had, and he's opening doors to those markets to make our growth plans, stages 1 through 4, come to life. So we really welcome Chris to the board, and will continue to undertake a consensus-based decision making as we go. Next slide is the management team. Again, very, very strong professional team. Tarina's been our CFO for about a year and a half now, just an outstanding addition to the team. And Mark Wolma, Rajiv Jain, and Ken Chasteen, those are your three technical experts that just bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to the table. And in fact, when customers come in, our technical team is good enough that they can actually help them improve the designs of the parts that they want or the pieces of equipment that they want. And we take great pride in that capability, and I think our customers really appreciate that capability as well. And of course, Jim Sims, who will join us right now to help us with the Q&A section of the event. And Jim is kind of a partner of mine, has been a partner of mine for a long, long time. Strong level of trust and integrity between us. And again, the management team operates much like the board of directors. We operate on a consensus basis with the values of honesty and integrity driving everything we do. So with that, Jim, why don't we open it up for questions?
Thanks, Mark. We got a number, so let's get started. How would you characterize the initial pour by IBC of the aluminum scandium alloy that was provided by Nycor? You kind of answered that, but you might want to give a little more color.
Yeah, it's an outstanding question. You know, we were attempting to make a 0.2% scandium contained in the finished alloy with the aluminum. And I'm happy to report that every single sample that we took of those ingots ended up at 0.2% scandium. I'm not sure that I've ever seen a situation where a company for the very first time ever undertakes a research effort, a testing effort to see if it's something that they can do, and they hit every single spec spot on. Now, I'm going to challenge the team and make sure that we undertake a second test to show that we can reliably reproduce those results. And then I think the next step after that will be, we'll see if we can form a little bit larger size pour and do a billet with the scandium aluminum alloys. And the reason to have all these different shapes and sizes is because of the different uses of that scandium aluminum alloy. And that can be done on anything from casting parts to just plates to putting together other things that our customers are looking at, particularly in the 3D printing sector. And so there's multiple areas where this scandium aluminum alloy can be used and are being used today. And we want to make sure that the supply side is no longer a problem for those customers. So outstanding effort, one that has the company very excited right now.
Here's another question. Of your 4 growth pillars, which ones will drive the majority of incremental EBITDA over the next 5 years?
You know, I think over the next 5 years, I would say that the addition of a vacuum cap furnace and the ability to produce the aluminum nickel alloys will be your number one lowest risk effort. I think number 2 is likely going to be the scandium aluminum alloys that we plan to make as that market continues to grow the way it is right now. And then the third one, although a very safe investment from our standpoint, just takes more time to implement, and that's putting that radial forge piece of machinery into our operations as well, where we can make many more of the close to finished parts for the Navy and their submarine program. So first one would be, you know, the vacuum cap furnace. Second one, scandium aluminum alloys. Third one, adding the radial forge to enhance our copper nickel capabilities.
Okay, here's a question, Mark. What is the competitive moat that IBC has with regard to the U.S. Navy's need for copper?
First of all, no one else in the nation really does it to a large extent. As I noted earlier, about 90% of what the Navy uses today and procures today comes from foreign sources. And so we do something onshore that not very many people do, and it does create a nice little moat for us. If we can continue to expand our capabilities, not only in what we do today, but continue to expand further downstream to get the as close to finished part as we can to the Navy, that increases the value of that metal that we're selling to the Navy as well. And those are things that certainly our team has experience with, and we just need to have the right investments to put the right equipment in and to make what our military needs. So, and I don't want to overemphasize the military too much. There's actually a very nice commercial demand for these products as well. I would say the aluminum scandium area in particular. Automobile manufacturers are looking for ways to take aluminum scandium alloys and replace the aluminum parts and pieces in the cars today. They get a lighter product, a stronger product, one that can be welded, and one that has very high corrosion resistance. So these are the types of product properties that the automobile manufacturers are looking for, and we think we have a very good product coming their way. Jim, do we have another question?
I was talking myself on mute. With growth, do you envision a need to expand the Franklin shop to accommodate new equipment, et cetera?
Yeah, I think we're very happy with the facility as we have it today. And remember, we just expanded this facility a few years back, probably less than 4 years ago. We expanded it. We have space in the existing facility. We tried to think ahead a little bit, so we have space in the existing facility to add the vacuum cap furnace that we're talking about right now. A lot of the infrastructure is already there and invested in. So the first part of our growth project can actually occur in the existing facilities. When you start talking about adding a radial forge to our operations, that will require a new building, and we have plenty of property just existing to put that building in and to house that piece of equipment. So I think our location is outstanding for many reasons, because we have room. We also are in a really good area in terms of finding the labor that we need to continue to run this business. And we find people that have very good experience coming in and wanting to work at IBC because of the culture that we really work hard on to maintain. So we've got good land position, we've got great government help, permitting help to get things through, and we've got a great labor force. I think we're in great shape moving forward with this 4-step growth plan.
Cool. We got 3 minutes left, Mark. Here's one. Given IBC's scandium aluminum progress and NioCorp's not Lockheed DOW scandium pathway, is management actively pursuing DOW funding to accelerate a dedicated clean melt and forging line so the U.S. can lock in scandium aluminum and copper nickel supply chain for naval and aerospace and other applications?
So I could answer that very long question with a very simple yes, but let me expand on that a little bit and note that IBC isn't any different than any other company that feels that it can have a compelling project plan, a compelling business plan to put in front of the U.S. government today and continue to try to onshore the critical and strategic minerals needs that our country has. I think IBC is going to be one of the surprise players that comes out of this because of what we can do onshore already. We just need to have some larger equipment and some newer equipment to make additional alloys that the country needs today. But we have the capabilities, we have the people, and we're no different than any other company looking to help the United States with its onshoring activities. And we're talking to the Department of War as we speak.
Well, on that line, the next question, Mark, is do you expect the orders, contracts with the U.S. Navy primarily to be one-off projects, long-term agreements, or perhaps a mix of both?
I would actually hope that we end up with all three. And it's interesting that I'm saying all three because there's actually an immediate need right now. And we're getting more incoming inquiries from Navy subcontractors or the Navy itself as we speak, because they're recognizing the skill set and capabilities that IBC can bring to the table. We need to do a better job of continuing to market ourselves the way that we are, because the Navy has been very impressed with our capabilities, and we're now getting the incoming from the Navy. We're not having to go out so much. So a lot of it is we've got to create those relationships, maybe make sure that we can demonstrate our capabilities to meet or exceed their needs. And we've really got a good track record on that already. So I think we will see both kind of short-term contracts coming in. I think we'll see the midterm contracts. And I think that they're going to love to ask us to help them with some of the future development activities that they're doing as well, because our capabilities of making just about any alloy out there is quite strong.
Okay, Mark, we're at the bottom of the hour, so we're out of time. Let me just note for those that asked questions, and thank you for those. We didn't get to them. I will get back to you so we can give you that information. Mark, any final quick closing comments?
I hope you pick up on the excitement that we have as a company. This company knows what it's doing. It has an outstanding, very doable, very real growth plan going forward. We're excited about where we're headed, and can't wait to demonstrate to the market that what we're thinking about is doable, and hopefully everybody, including our shareholders, will see the results of a lot of hard work by a lot of good people. Thanks for the opportunity again. Thanks for being here today.